Hello, Big Sports fans. This is Marquis Jones alongside Mr. Coach George Privott of the Northampton County High School Jaguars. As this Saturday, December 14th, they prepare to take on Robbinsville High School in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association High School State Championship, 1A Championship this Saturday. Coach Privott, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well, sir. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you for joining us here on the Big Sports Network. Thank you for your time. And I also want to say congratulations on a terrific season, 11-3 season, championship berth this Saturday. So thank you and congrats to your team.
Thank you.
First question for you, how does it feel to be the leader of this team, to have the deepest playoff run in 14 years?
It feels great. We struggled for the past few years with the third round. We'd always come up short with either injury or unfortunate turnover late in the game that caused the game to be decided and couldn't get over the third round. And finally, we got over the third round this year and got past the fourth round, and now we're in the state championship. And I think it was all caused to some early injuries and losses that we weren't used to, which made the difference in this season.
What has been the motivation for you as head coach this season in particular that has led this team to where they are right now?
Basically just having the kids sit back and let the game come to them and just relax, rather than having the pressure that we've had over the years with the being the #1 seed in the East, being undefeated, winning the conference, trying to hold on the home field advantage. There's a lot of pressure behind all of those titles. So once we took those 3 losses and weren't conference champs, and we were like, okay, we knew we'd finish second place. So just see where we fail in the playoffs and see what our seed would be. And we would play the spoiler role this year instead of trying to hold on to #1 and be the champ. So it got us where we are, so it was a good plan.
Okay, and what has it been about this specific team to get you over that hump?
I think just a tad bit more discipline with this team than my previous teams. My previous teams were probably not disciplined, but more talented than this team. But as a whole, the discipline and the leadership has been a little bit better than it has been over those other teams.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the community of this team and how senior leadership in specific has played a big role on this team this season?
Right. Well, these seniors, all of them have endured those third-round losses and were part of those teams that we had in the past that lost. Especially the team that I had last year was probably the most talented team I had since I've had Keon Crossing. That entire group became starters when they were all sophomores. So I really felt like that team was a team that was going to take us over the hump last year. Unfortunately, Rosewood came in, knocked us off last year, so we didn't make it as far as we thought we should have. This same team came back this year with the same motivation and knowing that Rosewood had knocked us off. And once we got them in the third round, it was a little bit of redemption. So I think their focus has been mostly behind all of we've been knocked off in the third round over and over again, and they wanted to get past it and be the team to do it.
Okay, and sticking on the subject of your senior class this year, where do you see this being their final game of football in their football career, but what do you see for them in their future as they go to college or graduate in the upcoming May?
Well, I see most of them going to school to play football, whether it be junior college or Division II. Most teams don't recruit kids from the type of offense that we run, especially no one to come in and record an option quarterback unless it's Navy or Georgia Tech doesn't run anymore. But we have some talented kids here. A lot of them get overlooked. Again, Keon Crossing, for example, small kid from small town, took him to NC State, Carolina, East Carolina, Wake, Duke. Everybody wanted him to be a preferred walk-on. Western Carolina sees him one time, gives him a shot. He's in the NFL now. So we do have kids down here that can play. They might be a little undersized for what you want to do, but they have the biggest hearts in the world and most talent.
Okay, and my next couple of questions, going to go to a little bit of the stats from this season. This team offensively has scored a total of 492 points on the season, averaging 44.7 points per game. What's been the biggest contribution to this powerhouse offense that you guys have?
Basically, just like my team, talented teams I've had the last couple of years, no one's selfish. I run a 4-back system. It's 3 backs, but the quarterback, he's another back as well. As long as no one is greedy and selfish and not harking on stats, the offense it'll take off. And for the last few years, it's been that way. They all get touches. If somebody's hot, we go with the person that's hot, but everybody's going to get a touch in the backfield. We don't just come in and I didn't even know we had rushed for that many yards, to be honest with you. The points, when I used to be an assistant under Coach Greg Watford, that's over at North Pitt, our goal was try to score 50 points a season, average 50 a season. So with us at 44, it's close to what we set out to do as a goal.
Okay, and looking at the other side of the football, defensively, you guys have, in your victories, you have a 23.7 margin of victory.
Right.
Where has this team found the defensive spark this season?
So our base defense we run is a 4-2-5-4-4. The kids, we've been running it probably about 5 years now. I think Pamlico defeated us in the second round, running the same defense, and I switched to it from my 3-5-3 stack. So it's very simple. They get to fly around, they know where to go, and we don't blitz a lot because everybody does their assignment. If they do their assignment, the defense causes turnovers, confusion, and whatnot. As a switch up, starting with Rosewood, we decided on maybe running a different defense. And some of my coaches asked me about running a certain defense against them. I said, well, we can get the same results from running my old 3-5-3 stack. Brought that in, showed it to the kids. They got excited, and they flew around because they get to blitz a lot more. They're coming from different angles. It causes confusion in Rosewood. I don't think they were – I know they weren't ready for it. They weren't expecting it, but it was a shock to them. So now it's going to be a mix-up of 3-5-3, 4-2-5, 4-4, 5-3, some of everything. Anything that works, we run it. And a lot of teams say you don't wait this late in the season to change. I haven't run this defense, since 2013, and we brought it back after 6 years, and it's paid off.
Okay. And for a quick second, I want to take you back to a pivotal point in the season. Take you back to when you're 4-4, you're facing a 2-game losing streak, the only time in the season where your team had back-to-back losses.
Right.
What was the inspiration that you gave your team to turn the season around at that point?
Well, again, the fact of once we had lost to North Edgecombe the first time and we were missing 3 starters, Najee Newsom with a concussion, Eric Robinson with a high knee sprain, and Chad Brody had got ejected for an altercation in the game before. Again, I talked to him about the pressure. Okay, we lost the conference. We're going to be second place. I mean, not to take anything from the other teams, but I knew what team we had once we got back healthy. We come in second place. Hopefully we'll get a good seed, or we'll get seeded to where we can come back and maybe, I know the first thing they wanted to do was face North Edgecombe, and they also wanted to play Washington County again because those were 2 losses that we had. And I just told them just wait, be patient, and see what seed we get in the playoffs and see what bracket we get, and then we'll work from there. So they paid off. They just waited and were patient with me. And like I told them after we played Weldon that last Friday of the season, that Saturday, I told them, once I find out who we have in the bracket, I'll let you know. And of course, we got the number 4 seed, so we got a first-round bye. And I told them after that we start focusing on who we play in the second round, and we go from there. So that's what we did.
Okay, and I'm actually glad that you brought up the early injuries because that was leading to my next question with Najee Newsom having a scary injury and then the injury bug threatening to bite this team. How did they handle that adversity as a team with a couple of guys going down early on?
I think they handled it well. Our backups played well against North Edgecombe, even though we went into the game not having Najee or Eric. When we actually stuck with them the first half of the game, we had one letdown right before, I think it was the final seconds of the first half. They threw a Hail Mary for a touchdown, which took the lead, and I think they took that momentum in halftime, and they came back out and jumped all over us in the second half. Had that not been for that Hail Mary touchdown, I think it would have still been a closer game than what it was. But it also helped us overcome them last week because they hadn't seen Eric, they hadn't seen Najee, Chad Brody, who took back the 95-yard interception for the game winner. They didn't see him, so I was happy that they were happy with the first win, and I think it was a surprise to them that we played as well as we did against them the second time.
Okay, and that actually transitions well to my next question about North Edgecombe. You did suffer the 46-28 loss in the first time that you met with that team, and almost exactly 2 months later on December 6th, you play them again, 20-12 victory for you guys. What was the spark or the change there that sparked that winning streak for your team and then allowing you to win last week as well?
Well, of course, those guys being healthy and being back helped a lot. Them not being prepared for their speed and what they brought to the team, and I think them riding high from the first win, they kind of took us a little lightly and allowed us to sneak in there and come out with a win.
Okay. And looking forward to Saturday's game now against Robinsonville, the Black Knights. They're 14-0 in the season. What do you foresee as one of the biggest challenges in that contest?
The biggest challenge I see is with us, just going in there and playing it as a regular game. Don't get caught up in the hype of it being a state championship. I mean, enjoy, be glad that you're here, but don't get overwhelmed with all the stuff that's going on as far as a big stadium, a huge crowd. It's still football. Football's football. So they're a wing T team. We haven't faced a true wing T team here lately in a while. Since I think about 3 years ago, I played Southside a couple of years back-to-back in the second and third round. So just them coming in, focusing, and settling down from the beginning is my biggest thing. Once they settle and see what they have, then I think they'll be all right. Settle down and play football.
Okay, and Riley Anderson, like Najee Newsome for the Jags, is the leading rusher for Robinsonville, averaging 142 rushing yards a game. What's the key to stopping that rushing attack against Robinsonville?
Just confusion. Us blitzing from different places, playing sound football, knowing our assignments and everybody doing their job, I think it'll take care of itself. And we see, I played in this offense at high school, so I know that it can pose some big plays at times, but at the same time, if we can limit them to the big plays and just let them get a few yards and see if they're patient enough to grind it out like we will, then I think it'll make a difference in the game.
Okay. And what's the motivation for the team? What is your message to your team specifically going into Saturday's contest?
Basically, I think it's just for them to go out and have fun and enjoy the moment. For my seniors, like I told them, and I went back and showed them Tarboro head coach, Coach Privott, his interview the other day in Raleigh. And it was something that I say all the time. I say, guys, me as a head coach, I can come back as many years as I want. I mean, as long as I'm willing to come back, as long as they let me back, I can. But you seniors, you only get 4 years to play. Well, you get 4 years, but as a senior, this is your last go-around. So go out, show these young guys how to do it, and it'll be their time next year. Then young guys take it all in, but seniors, you got to lay it all on the line on Saturday. So that's my motivation for them. Just go out, have fun, and do what we do. Don't get overwhelmed.
Yes, sir. And my final question for you is actually an opportunity for you to send your final message out to the Northampton faithful and just to the community that's backing you here in this state title game. Right. What is your message to the community in hopes of bringing home the championship on Saturday?
Just for the community to come out and support these kids. And I think last week was probably the first time I've seen this county and community come together since the consolidation. Was everyone pretty much had the same story. No matter if you were Northampton East Ram, Northampton West Hurricane, we're all one now with Jaguars. And I think it helped a lot with the middle school, their consolidation, them winning the championship this year. I think for the last few years, one or the other of our Little League teams has won the championship in the area, so it's saying a lot for the county, a lot for our program here, our feeder programs, and we want to keep that going, and we want to get this ring to solidify what we've been doing and bring this county together as one for once and all. So that's what we want to do, and that's what my message to them is. 3 o'clock, Durham.
Okay, yes, sir. And we'd like again to say thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us here on the Big Sports Network. And again, this Saturday, December 14th, you can watch the Northampton County Jaguars on the campus of Duke University as they take on Robinsonville in the state championship. Again, thank you for tuning in. This is the Big Sports Network.